Hey guys, I'm Maddie Gordon from Austin Underground, and today I'm here with Trenton of Seryn. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
Enjoying this nice Texas weather?
Sweating quite a bit. Yes.
Okay, well, we'll get right into it. I know you guys have been going through lots of changes recently with, in the last 5 or 6 years, or 4 or 5 years probably, you dropped management, you dropped your label. What has that been like?
It's been liberating as much as it's been a lot of hard work. I mean, when you take on a lot of that responsibility yourself, when you let go of people who are hired to do specialized jobs, their role is to help alleviate those responsibilities so that you can focus on the music. And so it's very nice to have those people around, but at a certain point you have to weigh out whether or not it's worth having someone represent you and take a piece of what you're doing or try to handle it yourself. And for us at the time, it made more sense for us to not have their services involved.
Do you think it's changed the way you guys approach music creatively? Or have you looked at it more from a business angle exclusively now?
Definitely not exclusively, and I think in a lot of ways, honestly, I think there's been a lot in the past 2 or 3 years where we've struggled to not get overwhelmed or overcome and sucked into the business side. And there's a lot where you have to step back and you have to realize that at the end of the day, we're here to make art. Music does become effectively like running a small business, and so you don't want to be dumb. You don't just want to spend all your money on stupid stuff, but you still have to run it intelligently like you would any other business.
So your last album was a year ago, and now you've had time to really sit with it. How do you think that was received?
It's interesting. I'm still proud of the record. As far as this is where it's very interesting, because there's the business side of looking at it, whether you view that as a success, or there's the artistic side. And as an artist, I'm very proud of the songs that were put on that, the sounds that we created, the scapes that we were able to create. But as far as just strictly a numbers figure go, it actually didn't do quite as well as our first record. And granted, it's newer, and so it hasn't been out as long. Our first record came out over 5 years ago, so it's had more time. But and so that's always interesting. That's where you find yourself wrestling between the business side and the artistic side of feeling, whether or not something was successful or a failure.
Right. Do you think that'll affect the way you approach the next album?
I think it'll affect the way, I think it's informed the way that I will approach the business side of it. But if anything, having seen the business side of it, I'm more inclined to go bar none with the artistic side and just say, you know what, I'm not going to focus on necessarily how people perceive this. This is what I want to show people. You can like it or not. And so at the end of the day, the numbers matter only so much as just a figure. It's just a benchmark. It's just something to see how it's doing. But at the end of the day, I'm not doing it for the numbers. Most artists are going to be doing it because it's their canvas.
Right. That's awesome. And do you guys have anything in the works? Can we expect something new out soon?
We are definitely churning out. We're constantly going through changes. And since we moved to Nashville, we released the record, and not but 3 months later, 2 of the members quit. and we've since even still cycled through more members. And so it's been very challenging. In 2 records, we've had 10 people in the band, but that hasn't stopped us. And in fact, every time that we've hit one of those bumps, we've just been forced to grow and strengthen whatever's going on. And so we definitely have a lot of songs that we've written, and we're trying to churn through the process of what it looks like to get it out.
Do you think like the changing of members has had like any effect on your sound, or do you think the people who have stayed have kind of like stapled it?
No, absolutely. Uh, as one of the primary songwriters for the group, my voice and my lyrics, the songs that I write, are kind of at the core of it all. But we've had violin players and banjo players. We had a drummer that used to play pump organ and vibraphone, and now one of our key members, one of our best friends, Chase, is a drummer and a synth guru. He just loves like 80s synth, and so I think if anything, I don't mind allowing the strengths of the people who are in the band to influence what comes out. I think that's always kind of been at the core vision and philosophy of this group. It has been the collaborative effort. And it's not about, I think if I wanted to be in a band where I had the exact vision, and it was, I'm going to put out a country record and I'm going to get some people to play the parts that I want them to play, then I could go be that band. But I think one thing I love about working in under this band is bringing people and utilizing their strengths, creating a symbiotic relationship creatively, where you can, Chase is one of the most talented people I know, and he doesn't play banjo or violin, and so we've translated some of the parts that used to be on a violin to a synthesizer, and because songs are kind of, for us, they're more of an amorphous idea that can be presented in many different ways. Yeah.
Very, very cool. So you guys have been touring around quite a bit lately, going all sorts of places. Do you have any favorites? Have you had any really notable cities or nights out?
Quebec City.
Where's that?
In Quebec.
Oh.
Yeah. So Quebec City was actually pretty amazing. That was one of my favorites. Partially just because it was our first tour out of the country,
Right.
and the response was far better than we ever expected, and so it was just surprising. So, but every city we go to, it's always fun to just kind of get to delve into unique communities of artists and musicians and fans and friends and connect with new people. So.
Is there anywhere you'd really like to go, like overseas somewhere or somewhere in the U.S. specifically, like a venue?
I've never been to Europe, period. So I definitely would love to get to go to Europe, especially if I got to play music while I was there.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, as you can see from the sweat on my forehead, pretty much from like July through September, our goal is just to get out of the South as much as possible. So if we can go to the West Coast or Canada, like we just always.
You have to come here now,
Yep. And we're here.
in the middle of September.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Awesome, and thank you for watching.